Check, check. Is our mic on? We're trying a new mic out today, guys. So bear with me with the sound. Just trying out some new things. So I wanted to kind of do a walkthrough of the garden. I'm here in Central Florida in Zone 9B. They say that can get as cold as 25 degrees here. Just recently, we probably got pretty close to 26 degrees, and we had in December, sometime mid to late December, we had in the just below probably like 32, and then we got two back-to-back freezes here recently as well within the last 2 weeks. So actually, it probably would have been the beginning of December, or maybe even just before December. So late November and then mid to late December, we had a freeze back to back. And so we're going to go over some of the things that I have out here on my property. So there's, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm kind of perplexed at what to talk about. I don't really know what to talk about. I get overwhelmed because I don't quite know what I should talk about because I have so many things going on here. So I'm going to just get on here, talk to you guys, and kind of just express whatever's on my mind. And that's what this channel is going to be about. Some of you guys might get bored. Some of you guys might learn something. Hopefully we can learn something from each other. But I definitely have a lot of tropical plants that I'm dealing with here on the property. I'm going to flip the camera here so you can see some of the trees that are in front of me. Over here you can see this is my nectarine tree. This is my sun home nectarine. Now remember guys, we have recently gotten to the temperature of mid 20s. It doesn't stay that temperature very long here, but it's enough to do some damage to the tropicals. Now these are not tropicals. This is a tropical beauty peach. This is a sun home nectarine. Both of those are what you call deciduous, meaning that they actually do go into a dormant stage. They go into a dormancy where they drop their leaves and they actually are prepared to take cold weather. This is also in the stone fruit family, which is a plum. This is a Gulf beauty plum, and this one here is a scarlet beauty plum. Now these all are deciduous, meaning that they can take some cold weather. Let's walk over here and let's look at some plants that aren't so cold hardy. So I'm finding out. This is all experimental for me, and I'm kind of learning as I go. Listen to the dried sugar cane that was beautifully green and red. That's a red sugar cane, but now it looks like hay and sounds like paper rubbing together because it did not fare so well in these 20-degree freezes. This is a hog plum, or was a hog plum. I have confidence that it'll pull through. I think it will actually pull through because the best way that I can determine that it's probably going to pull through is because I can see when I look closely. If I scratch the bark, I can see a little bit of green. But if you look closely here, there's still a little bit of green right here and here, and see that's still alive. Man, it's so amazing. It's amazing the resiliency of nature, because those are, they're not adapted to the cold as in such a way as like an apple or a plum or a peach, but they die back, and more than likely they will come back. And then over here I have some mulberries. This is called a gelato mulberry. This mulberry was probably about this big when I bought it. It's been here for about 6 or 7 months and it's already doubled in size. This over here is a Australian turkey mulberry. It creates a very, very large mulberry. Very sweet like sugar. Very fat. Not quite as big as a Pakistan, but about that big probably, but very fat, very voluptuous. Voluptuous. Now look, this sugar cane fared pretty well. We still have some greenery on this sugar cane. It did not do too bad. I would say that it did survive. And in all honesty, all of them are probably going to survive. Even these ones over here, it looks like they're probably going to die down and come back. I mean, these really took a hit. Look at this. I mean, they took a hit. I mean, all the way from the top to the bottom. There's nothing green on that anymore, except for these. Now, these are Buddha belly. This is a very interesting cane here. I want to say that it comes from Thailand, definitely somewhere in Asia. And if you look at the side of it, it kind of has like a belly type shape, and it kind of looks variegated. And now I've heard people say that those actually possibly taste like cotton candy, like the actual juice of the cane tastes like cotton candy. But we're soon to find out. Hopefully, I'm hoping they'll survive. I have another Buddha belly here. Oh, here, and they appear to be okay. So, oh yeah, look at that. I just now noticed that actually. It actually has some green left on it versus my red sugar cane is no bueno. But if you look down here, you can see we still have life. And again, it's actually already, wow, I'm just noticing this for the first time. So these are my red sugar canes, and it's actually for the first time I'm noticing that it's already coming back from the ground. Because that's what I heard. I heard that sugar cane will die back. Almost like a deciduous type plant, even though it's a grass, it's not a tree, but almost like a deciduous type behavior. And they will die back to the ground and come back, even though they're actually dying. And a deciduous tree would drop its leaves, it would go dormant, not die. But these actually will dry out. All these canes more than likely will just fall over, become fertilizer for the next yield. But that's awesome. I'm actually seeing all those come back. Wow. I'm really glad the Buddha belly did not die back though, because the Buddha belly is a pretty rare one to find. This is I believe this is a Prunus americana. This is a American plum tree. At least that's what I think. If you guys know any different, let me know. It produces a plum about yay big, and it's not the sweetest plum, not the most sour plum. I have some on the property that are wild that I've been experimenting with and grafting with that are even more bitter, and that's a wild plum. This is supposed to be a native American plum, but man, when I got this tree, it was only about this big, and it's only a year. And honestly, I've already cut it twice. It would have already been at least twice this size. I mean, right now it easily stands at close to 9 to 10 feet at the tallest branch. So bananas. I have some very uh, unique bananas here on the property. Um, not so much in this cluster here, although this one is a unique one. Check this one out. Have you guys ever seen bananas with the red undertones on the leaves? This is Musa zebrina, or Zebrina Musa, not sure. It's a Zebrina Musa hybrid, which means blood banana. And here's a little baby blood banana. Generally, the leaves are actually more red underneath than this, but right now, because of the cold weather, it looks like you can kind of see right there. Just beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful ornamental banana. The Musa zebrina is actually grown as an ornamental banana because it's a wild banana. It's actually kind of from my research, it's the banana that is the forefather or foremother of the bananas that we have today. They were, of course, the bananas we have today were bred and crossbred and I don't know if you would say genetically modified, but more selectively bred for the traits and the flavor and the shipability and the shelf life of the bananas that we have today. But this wild specimen of Musa zebrina is a red-leafed, more wild type of banana. But this banana actually is a hybrid of a banana called Gros Michel. And if any of you guys are from the islands, you're probably familiar with the term Gros Michel because it's still popular in the islands. You don't see it so much here in the States anymore, but the Gros Michel was actually, from what I've read, it was the original commercial banana. And it was the one that you would have gone to the store to get, you know, I don't know how long, maybe 30, 50 years ago. Then there was a a disease that actually wiped them out. And from what I've read, the dwarf Cavendish, which is more along the commercial banana that we have now, these are the more modern day. You see Cavendish bananas every nursery you go, Walmart, Lowe's. You see these dwarf Cavendish bananas. From what I understand, these are the banana variety that we have in the store. These actually are starting to get hit with some type of disease as well. And sorry guys if the wind is messing up any of the audio. I have no idea. I can't tell. This is my first time ever using a mic too. So from what I understand, these are actually going out as well. They're possibly facing extinction. So buying these bananas and having them on your property is beneficial because one day they may not be mass produced as they're being mass produced today. Let's step back here. Back here I have some dragon fruit. The dragon fruit actually surprisingly did very well. This is actually a species that I captured. I talk about fruit like Pokemon. I should name my channel Gotta Catch 'Em All because I'm always going and looking for getting cuttings off people's trees in the yards when I'm walking by and I'm seeing stuff. But this is actually a variety that I got from Tampa in my neighbor's yard in Tampa, my property in Tampa, and across the street I saw this thing climbing up a tree one day, and I went and asked him if I could take cuttings. Well, I took like maybe 5 or 10 cuttings, and I propagated all of these. And they started off as little cuttings. And if you guys don't know, dragon fruit is probably one of the easiest cactuses to propagate. I imagine most cactuses are pretty easy to propagate. I have some other cactuses over there as well. We'll talk about them if I can remember. But the bananas, back to the bananas were covered. I actually covered these bananas with a frost cloth, a heavy duty frost cloth like this, and that's why they're still there. Now you can grow bananas. Bananas are honestly an amazing fruit to grow, and I'll tell you why. This banana right here was behind my mom's house for close to 2 years with no water. She never watered the thing at all. It just sat in a little pot, maybe like a 2 or 3 gallon pot for like 2 years, and it looked like it was dying. But what it does is bananas go into these dormant stages and they will just last for years. I mean, I couldn't believe that it was still alive. I thought that I was going to bring it here and it probably wouldn't do so well. I figured it might dwindle out, but no. I put it in the ground, gave it some water, and that thing just exploded. It looks very, sad now because we just had all these freezes, and although my frost cloth did save them, they still took on damage. Had I not put on the frost cloth, it would look like that. So bananas are very resilient. Now here's the thing that I've learned about bananas, and as time goes on, we'll see if this is true. Um, from what I understand, most bananas that you're going to buy in the nurseries, if you're going to grow bananas, take about 2 years to produce fruit. So these bananas are on their first year, so to speak. So had I had let the freeze knock them back, it would almost be like they're starting over again. Because at the bottom of that banana tree is a corum. And the corum is like the heart. I like to call it the mother, right? It's the mother cell. And that cell is what produces all of the pups. So it will die back to that mother, and the mother will shoot up more vegetative growth again, and it kind of starts to cycle over. So my job this year, or my goal, was to keep them protected so that they can go on to their second year without being damaged. Without being killed back to the ground. This little bit of damage is fine. It's already pushing out new leaves. They're always pushing out new leaves. Well, actually, here, this would be the newest leaf here, right here. And then this one is pushing out a new leaf here. And this here was the newest leaf on this one. So it's still pushing out new leaves. It's still green. It's still alive. Although I have noticed that they do slow down quite a bit in the winter. In the spring and summer, the more you water these things, it's like it pops leaves out every day. I mean, they're so vigorous. But I have noticed that most of my tropicals, even if they, regardless of frost damage, just the cold weather slows the plants down, kind of like it slows people down as well. Here's some blackberries that I think are dormant. I'm not sure if blackberries go dormant or not. I mean, I still see green here. These were not protected at all. I mean, these were really, really bushy before winter, but it looks like they're starting to come back. So I'm going to say that they went dormant. I thought I heard something. But the blackberries, I believe, went dormant. Here is a mango tree. Or I'm sorry, that's a mango tree. Here's a guava tree. The guava tree, you can't kill this thing. I mean, I've pretty much realized that these pink guavas, they're definitely not my favorite fruit whatsoever. Although they do make a beautiful fruit. Um, they are very resilient. This thing has taken sun damage. It looked like this, I don't know how many times. Freeze damage looked like this, I don't know how many times, and it just always comes back. You know, I think it's considered a tropical plant. It's a pink guava, and it's just a very resilient tree. Once you put it in the ground, it just takes off, and it'll probably do a lot better with frost in the ground, as will any other plant. You know, being stuck in these pots, it allows the cold to surround the roots, versus in the ground, it can only kind of, the cold has to work from the top down to get into the roots. But being able to surround the roots, there's not very much distance of dirt in between, or insulation in between the roots and the cold. So pots are not ideal for cold weather. So, you know, it's gonna take more damage like that. But it still is freaking alive, man. Here's my mango tree. It was covered with a nice thick frost cloth. We still took a little bit of damage, but it's still good to go. I mean, had there had been buds on here, I'm pretty sure they would have got damaged too. So that's why we're working on phase two. We're working on phase two of the farm here, what I call the farm, and I'll show you that here momentarily. Here is a katuk, which I wasn't sure what was going to happen with this, but look at this. We've got all this new growth coming in. I was able to cover that with some kind of some type of cloth I did put on top of that. And here's a moringa. This I'm really worried about. The moringa, I'm not sure. It doesn't look too good, does it, guys? But let's hope that there's some life in here, and that the root system will be able to push up some new vegetation in the spring. We've got everything out here is irrigated. This is I want to say a millennial plant. I want to say it's a millennial plant. I believe they call that a millennial plant because every 100 years it flowers. And the millennial plant, if I'm not mistaken, is also known as the agave plant, which is where we get agave from. The agave syrup you get out of the grocery store. And it's also what tequila is made out of. And my friend that actually gave me this one, his was actually probably about 30 feet tall. He had a huge flower on it, so it's going to get a lot bigger than that. Just kind of continuing on what the frost did to the tropicals. Here is a pineapple. Not sure of the variety of pineapple, although this pineapple has grown pretty well and established a good root system over the last 6 months here. It did take a lot of damage on the outer panicles or leaves or whatever you want to call them, but it's definitely still alive. Can you see that little frog in there? I just got a low battery. I'm not sure if you guys saw that or not. I don't know what happens whenever low battery pops up on the phone. I don't know what happens to the video. This is a jackfruit. This also was covered and it took damage. It was covered by this. These are very thick, actually commercial grade frost blankets. But again, that's why we're working on phase two. Now, this phase one, what I call phase one, which is testing out what trees do out in the yard with protection and without protection. Um, I want some things to actually be in my front yard because I mean, who doesn't want to walk out of your house and see a huge Valencia Pride mango with 300 mangoes on it, and especially in an area like this where we're not really supposed to be able to grow these type of things. You never see mangoes up here near Gainesville, Brooksville area. I mean, you just don't you don't see when you come up this far in Florida, people kind of give up on mangoes. So I like the challenge. A big jackfruit with fruits hanging off of it, 10 fruits hanging off of it that are 30 pounds each. I mean, come on, man. That's what this stuff's all about, in my opinion. So I want to have some out in the yard, but we are working on phase two, which is to actually have full-time protection in the winter. Now look at this mango. I mean, look at this pineapple. Isn't that interesting? Same pineapple as over there, but took so much less damage. And so that's the thing about all of this. There's so many factors when it comes down to the weather. Like, look how the wind's blowing right now. You see? There's little pockets that the air is escaping through in order to get to my trees in this little area here, right? And there's certain areas that are protected more. I mean, it could have just been as simple as that pot right there created protection from the north wind, because from my understanding that from my understanding is that the cold weather comes from the north. So when we have cold fronts, they're going to come from the north. So that means that anything that doesn't have northward protection, doesn't have a wall or some type of structure that's going to protect it on the north side of it, the north wind is going to blow straight through. Now I have all these trees, because that's north on my property, that are offering a bit of protection. But it could be like this or slightly like this, north, exact true north, I don't know. But somewhere in this direction would be where the north wind is coming from. But you can see this plant clearly did not take as much damage as this one. And they are the same thing, same plant. So just food for thought. I've noticed that with multiple things on the property, and that's where we get the term microclimate, because something like this right here can create a microclimate for this plant because it's creating protection from the wind, at least from this side. And another thing that creates kind of like a sub microclimate would be having a canopy, because something very interesting happens. Something that I was not aware of before. Something very interesting happens whenever we have freezes. And I want to say it's due to the humidity. So at some point we hit freezing throughout the night. Whenever we hit freezing throughout the night, the frost will actually fall down. It will actually fall down. So anything that has like a canopy over it, or anything that has a tree over it that is acting as a canopy, anything that's underneath those canopies actually are somewhat protected. And I've noticed that to be true. I've read about it, but I've also observed it to an extent this past season. So yeah, this canopy, which is kind of like why I put these things in here also, all these different plants that I have scattered in here. Um, these are Monstera deliciosa. Let's see if I put a date on these. I'm not sure. Paid $25 for that. May 6th last year I planted these. Now look at how these were damaged. I thought this was fascinating. And again, this just all comes with observing your climate, your yard.